Have you ever read a novel that's so ambitious, it feels like it's taking itself apart right in front of you? Well, today we're doing just that. We're diving deep into the literary sci-fi novel Reality Shift, and we're going to deconstruct it, piece by piece, to figure out what makes this incredibly intricate machine actually tick.
But first, let me ask you something. Think about a huge turning point in your life, a real crossroads. Now, what if you could actually go back, make the other choice, and just live out that alternate life? What regret would you want to erase?
That exact thought experiment is the engine driving Reality Shift. The story is all about a family who has this unbelievable and frankly terrifying ability to split their consciousness and jump into parallel universes. Their goal? To fix their biggest regrets. It's one part mind-bending thriller and one part a really deep dive into regret, trauma, and what it means to be connected.
Okay, so to really get this book, we have to start with its blueprint. And it is wildly ambitious. But here's the crazy part. The novel knows it. This is a story that is actively and intentionally critiquing its own storytelling as you read it. Get this piece of writing advice isn't from a book review. It's given to a character inside the novel itself. The book is so meta, so self-aware, that it contains its own literary criticism. It's like the author is winking at you, acknowledging just how dense and complex the style is. It's a really daring move, and it totally sets the stage for everything that comes next. That self-aware style really begins with the prose. This is the first layer of our deconstruction. The actual words on the page are the foundation, and they create a world that is incredibly dense, detailed, and just so deliberate. The author uses a very specific toolkit to build this reality. You've got rich, immediate sensory details, right alongside all this specialized jargon from technology, architecture, and even spirituality. Then, on top of that, it's layered with these deep literary allusions to people like T.S. Eliot and Carl Jung, and even philosophical ideas from A Course in Miracles. Yeah, this is not a light read, it's designed for total immersion. And this sentence right here is a perfect example. Electrochromic glass, juniper topiaries, labant gourmand. See what's happening? In just a handful of words, you get this powerful sense of a world that's high-tech, meticulously designed, and very, very wealthy. Every single word is chosen to build that specific atmosphere. But this incredibly detailed world, it isn't just for show. It's the stage for some deeply, deeply wounded characters. In Reality Shift, trauma isn't just a backstory. It's the fuel for the entire plot. And this is absolutely crucial. Every single main character is being driven by a ghost from their past, a deep, unresolved trauma that basically dictates their every move. The whole sci-fi premise is really just a vehicle for them to finally confront these psychological wounds. So let's look at the core conflicts. You've got Biz, the patriarch, who was just crushed by guilt over a corrupt project that led to a deadly collapse. His goal is to find a reality where he made the right choice. Then there's Donnie, who's haunted by childhood abandonment and is just searching for acceptance. And Kurt is driven by this deep-seated fear that he's a coward. Each alternate life they create is a direct answer to their deepest pain. This is what makes the novel so fascinating. It's essentially resolution via simulation. The whole sci-fi plot becomes a kind of therapeutic tool. Instead of just talking through their trauma, the characters get to literally live in a reality where it never happened, or at least where they reacted differently. It's such a cool way to explore psychology. All right, now we get to the most complex part of this machine, the narrative engine itself. How does the story even work when you have characters jumping between timelines? Well, to put it simply, it breaks a lot of rules. The core mechanic has this really fancy name, interdimensional bilocation. It sounds complicated, but all it really means is the ability to consciously split your mind and send a piece of it into a parallel reality, one that branches off from a single moment of choice.
So how does one of these shifts actually happen? Okay, first, a character faces a big, pivotal choice. Second, in that exact moment, their consciousness splits, creating a whole new timeline. Now, this next part is key. The book says these new realities do not interact. Finally, the character gets to live out this completely new life, exploring what would have happened if they'd chosen differently.
And here's where it gets truly mind-bending. There's extreme time dilation. So while maybe only a few days pass in the original timeline, a character could live for years, even a decade, in an alternate one. I mean, can you imagine the psychological whiplash? To keep it all straight, one of the characters actually keeps a detailed logbook of all the branching timelines. And again, the novel comments on its own risky structure. This quote right here admits that all this jumping between timelines and different points of view is a huge challenge for the person reading it. It's a narrative tightrope walk, and the book is fully aware of it.
So let's recap. We've got dense prose, traumatized characters, and a fragmented, time-bending plot. You gotta be asking yourself, why? What is the emotional payoff for all this complexity? Well, let's dig into that. Because when it comes right down to it, the story's power isn't about the sci-fi spectacle. It all boils down to a single, devastatingly high-stakes choice. And that choice has nothing to do with technology and everything to do with family.
And here's the final choice they face. On one side, each character has found their own perfect reality, right? A life where their trauma is gone, their regrets are erased. On the other side is their current, shared reality. It's messy, it's dangerous, but it's the only place where they are still together, as a family.
So the resolution, it's not some big fight scene or an explosion. The catharsis is purely philosophical. To come back together, the family has to collectively decide to believe that their separation is just an illusion. They have to intellectually choose forgiveness and embrace this spiritual concept of atonement, which literally means becoming at one again. This belief is what creates the unified force that's strong enough to pull them all back to their shared, imperfect life. It's a really profound and unconventional way to end a story. Which, of course, brings us right back to you. The novel leaves us with this powerful, nagging question. If you could have a life free of your deepest regret, a perfect present, but it meant giving up the people and the connections you forged in this messy reality you have right now, would you take it? What's the real price of a perfect life?